Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to our wacky early Thursday podcast episode of Blue Truth and Bourbon. I am your host, Steve. Uh, Doing it early today due to going out of town this evening to work a job. So I wanted to get on here and not miss an opportunity to do the podcast. I may do some live stuff this weekend where we're working just to pass some of the time when we have downtime. So be watching out for that. I know 1 o'clock on a Thursday afternoon, probably not a whole lot of people are going to be able to tune in. That's okay. You can always watch this later, and I'm sure you will. I appreciate everybody that watches. Um, it's snowing in Florida, so it's okay if I do this early. It's wacky. It's all out of whack. The fact that there's snow in Florida, North Florida, as much as there was, I think 10 inches in Milton, Florida. That's pretty crazy. I wanted to take a drive, but nobody wanted to go with me. So I decided to stay here. But yeah, like I said, doing this early so that I can get out of town. So because I'm leaving out of town and driving, there's no bourbon today. Just my, I think I got an energy drink in here. So good to see you guys today. If you are here, you're on and about. Looks like maybe a couple are here. Give me a shout out. Let me know you're here. Say hey. Doing it a little different today because I actually am publishing this on my personal Facebook page, the Blue Truth and Bourbon Facebook page, and then YouTube. So I know it's a little risky putting it on my personal page because a lot more people are going to see it than would normally see it. And the reason I say that it's risky is because our topic today is probably going to rustle a few feathers. As I've told you before, I'm okay with that. I don't mind rustling feathers. Or ruffling feathers, I guess is the proper term. So, yeah, I'm good for debate. So, those of you who are watching, if you have comments or complaints or your own opinion, feel free to put them out there in the comment section. I have no problem with that. Um, Today on this episode, somebody had made a suggestion during the week to talk about some of the ways that the priorities have changed in recent years. And honestly, I can really only speak to the agency I was with and the local agencies, but I'm sure that a lot of this stuff matches all over the country. So wherever you're watching from, I'm sure you've seen some of this. You can relate to some of it. But over the last few years, I know a lot of you have seen the priorities change in law enforcement, and not necessarily for the better in most cases. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that today. Get into some touchy subjects, and like I said, I'm going to ruffle a few feathers. But what I suggest is that you listen to my entire argument before you make your judgment on me, make your decision about what I'm talking about, because um, I tend to grab things that are out there and put my own spin on them. And so hopefully my spin on what you have seen uh, projected in the media is maybe something more along the lines of what you think. So uh, we're going to talk about DEI. And for those of you who don't know what that is, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Um, Talk a little bit about things that some of the agencies have been doing. Some of the agencies have been uh, not focused on crime or not focused on what's going on in the community, but more so trying to appease folks that are out there. Governments, appease certain groups, um, and how they have created issues within the agency because of what they're doing, issues that they refuse to see. Um, at least I know locally. Um, Definitely some ideas and some thoughts on what's going on or what's been going on. And so, yeah, the like one of the things, I mean, if you look at law enforcement today, um, and we talked about, we showed a couple weeks ago, we showed the video where the Orange County Sheriff's Office in Orlando, Florida, where the K9 car was in the intersection. I guess they had an intersection takeover, and somebody jumped up on the hood of the Orange County Sheriff's Office K9 car and was jumping up and down, dancing on the hood while he was being videotaped. And my question was, well, why? I mean, how come somebody didn't jump out and yank him off the hood and put him in jail? And maybe somebody did later on. I mean, after the fact, I don't know. Honestly, saw the video. I haven't read any reports about what went on or how many people were arrested or anything like that. So that I don't know. But then I guess I don't know when it was, but there was another street takeover here recently, and I saw a video this morning. I posted it on the Facebook page. I posted it on my personal and on and the Blue Truth page, I believe, where the Florida Highway Patrol intersection takeover, and they decided, hey, we're not going to put up with this. Got into a couple of vehicle pursuits, pitted a couple of cars, took people to jail. Um, the sheriff's office was there. I don't know how involved they were. I did see a deputy jump up on top of a Florida Highway Patrol cruiser and point a gun at one of the guys that was refusing to get out of the car. I think he even kicked the window a couple of times. I'm not sure, but just the difference in policing there. FHP apparently has taken a stance where they are not going to tolerate street takeovers anymore. They are not going to tolerate people breaking the law, and they're going to take every effort to combat that. I get the argument that they're wrecking cars and the danger that's out there of chasing somebody that's doing a street takeover. But all they got to do is stop. You turn your lights on and they stop, and there's no issue. Write a ticket, take them to jail, impound a car, whatever you got to do. Uh, you just got to stop. Florida Highway Patrol is not creating this situation. Those people that are running from troopers are creating the situation. And, even though you have to measure what risk you're willing to take as an agency, um, you have to measure that with public safety. The Supreme Court has said that if law enforcement is acting within their policy, within the Constitution, within the laws, then they're not found culpable for what happens. The person who created the situation, the person who's running, is the one who gets charged with any injuries, any deaths, stuff like that. And I get it. I don't want anybody to die, but all they got to do is stop. Yeah, you know, Joe Lopez makes no bones about it. Former Florida Highway Patrol. I hope you don't mind me saying that, but exactly right. Zero tolerance policy is what's required. I mean, I told you the story. I think where we followed him. I was in an unmarked van. I had turned my body cam on. We followed him all the way up um, Orange Avenue into the city of Orlando. Actually, followed him up the trail onto Colonial. Went to take him down. Bunch of motorcycles, and they fled from us. We caught one guy. One guy pushed his motorcycle at me. We caught. I think we only took one person to jail that night, but somebody's got to do something about these. It's eventually it's going to cause these takeovers are going to cause more injuries than cops doing something about it. So just the idea of the priorities. You look at the difference between how it was handled. And again, I can only speak to what's going on or what I saw here locally with the sheriff's office versus the Florida Highway Patrol. I'm sure this has taken place all over the country. I know that the new sheriff in Miami has already made it well known that they're not going to tolerate this as well. So it's something that happens at least here in Florida a lot, and so something's got to be done. And so the priorities we have to change. I mean, and when I say the priorities have changed, here locally, and probably elsewhere all over the country, because of things that have happened over the course of the events. I give you a prime example of something that I'm talking about where um, we hesitate to do something because of the appearance it might give. After the George Floyd incident, I don't know if any of you are aware, but Derek Chauvin, the guy with the knee, I think that's his name, actually had a house here in Florida, and we were called up. My unit was called up to go over there because people were protesting outside of his house, and it was caused. I mean, it was a big protest. It really was. I mean, there was a lot of people there, but we were pulling road units, and my unit, was called over there. I was in the tactical unit at the time to stand in front of the house and keep the crowds back. Now, nobody was at the house. It was just a house that he, I guess, rented out, or a house that he owned that he, back and forth. I wouldn't want to spend winters in Minnesota. So, um, but I mean, we've got online standing in front of this house. We've got deputies, brand new deputies that probably had never been in mobile field force. They'd probably done mobile field force training once or twice. Probably never been in a riot, most of them, or a protest, whatever you want to call it. They weren't really rioting. There wasn't a whole lot of throwing and stuff, but there was a lot of, to stand a brand new deputy to stand on a line and get cursed at and called every name in the book when they've probably, the worst that they've ever seen is, Black Friday shopping, pushing each other and shoving each other as you're running into the target. I mean, that's probably the biggest fights they've ever seen, most of them. And expecting them to stand there and take it and not respond or not know how to respond or what level to respond at. Um, and I happened to be talking to a member of the emergency response team, and I was like, "Why? This is what you guys do. I mean, you train once a month for this. You have a big training once a year for this. What's the deal?" And the agency had decided that they didn't want to show uh, these guys with their helmets and their uniform, their emergency response uniform on, because they didn't want to. They didn't want the appearance, a bad appearance, and I don't understand how that's a bad appearance. I mean, we're wearing protective gear. That's what it's for. It's not. A lot of people say, "Oh, it's militarization of law enforcement." It's intimidation factor. No, it's for protection. People throw stuff, bricks, rocks, bottles. It's for protection. And you've got guys out there that have never had to deal with this, and you got guys sitting back in the back, nowhere near us. That you know that's what they train for, but they weren't allowed to be out there, and that happened several times during you know the protests in Orlando. Yeah, like Joe says, people were handcuffed, and it's OPD at the same time. Orange County during that time, we were handcuffed. Um, we weren't allowed to do what should have been done to protect ourselves, to protect others, and all for appearance sake. And so the priorities have changed. The focus has, you know, social media is a big part of it. A lot of these leadership and administrations and agencies, and I'm not speaking of local only. I'm talking about all over the country because all you have to do is turn on your TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, and you can watch the videos of all these agencies that are involved in all these trendy videos, these funny videos, dance videos, music videos, uh, trying to, whatever they want to call it, trying to humanize the badge. And, to me, that's not what it's doing. I have my opinion. You may have your opinion about it. You may think that those are cool and funny and may have been in some of them. I don't know. The issue for me is, to me, it kind of makes a mockery of the whole thing. It's not very professional, in my opinion. There are ways to have community engagement, community involvement without doing stuff like that. That's the National Night Out, perfect opportunity to get people, deputies, officers, out in front of the community and build those relationships. Learn how to help one another in the public. Get the particular deputies who or officers who work in that area out to those national nights out where they can meet the people in the community and the people in the community know, hey, that's my guy. When I see him driving by, you know, this is the guy that works my area. There's ways to do that, but the priority has been to be trendy and not, you know, focus on crime, focus on the laws. You know, one of the things that I told you I was going to ruffle feathers with, and here it comes, guys. So, and this is, I want to look. I told you we're going to talk about DEI, and I realized that here I sit, the white guy that's going to say these things, and it's the typical white guy thing. But my partner in the gang unit was a black male. I love that man. When he passed away, I cried. I have worked for many females. I have friends at the sheriff's office to this day who are gay, lesbian, that live an alternative lifestyle from me, that are very well deserving of where they're at. Okay. So when I talk about DEI, first of all, what I will tell you is I don't believe in DEI as a policy. I do, however, believe in DEI as a practice. And what I mean by that is if you are a leader, if you're a real, true leader, and probably a servant leader, if you're leading from the viewpoint of everyone that works for you desires to be valued, and you value every one of them, regardless of where they come from, what they look like, who they are. If you are mentoring, developing, coaching, and having them learn from your experience, no matter who they are, where they're from, what their race is. If as a leader, your sole focus, or not sole focus, but one of your focuses is to create more leaders, regardless of who they are, where they come from, what their background is, you are practicing DEI. I had a diverse squad on every squad that I had worked on or led. I had inclusivity. There weren't people that we said, "Oh, you can't do this because you're this. You're a Hispanic female. You're a white female. You're a black male. You're a black female. You know." That never happened. And everybody on those squads had every opportunity to advance, just like anybody else. My problem with DEI is that a lot of agencies are so focused on, well, we have to promote this, or we have to, because they check off a box. I have friends that check off boxes that deserve to be where they are based on their merit. And that's why they got promoted, not because of the checkoff boxes. Well, I mean, they may got promoted because they fill out a couple more checkoff boxes, but those people I can say deserved it because of their merit. When they get promoted, when they got promoted, yeah, I agree. But I have watched more people get promoted, transferred, hired because of a checkoff box who were hired, promoted, or transferred beyond their capabilities, if you know what I'm saying. And I'm sure those of you who are sitting here watching have seen the same thing. Again, your comments are gold for me. So keep it up. I appreciate the comments coming in. And if you have questions or if you want to make a statement, do so. I like being able to have people see those. So, this DEI push that, thank God President Trump has put an end to that in the federal government. But like I said, if you're practicing as a leader, those things that we talked about, valuing your team no matter where they're from, encouraging, coaching, mentoring, developing leaders, you are practicing DEI because you can't not. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if anybody agrees with me or not, but you can't not practice DEI if you're being a true leader. You can't not do it. It's part of who you are. It's part of leadership. It's part of being a real leader. And when like I said, I've seen people promoted beyond their capabilities, and I've seen them get demoted, and I've seen them get fired. And I'm talking about DEI. I'm not talking because the first thing somebody that is on here, I don't know who's watching sometimes. I don't know who sees it on YouTube. Uh, the first mole from the agency is going to say, "Oh, well, you got demoted." Yeah, I sure did. I got demoted. Well, it wasn't a DEI thing. Um, so I'm talking about, people that were incapable of being leaders because they checked off a box, get demoted, get fired. And they were doing stuff before they were promoted and before they were fired, or before they were promoted and before they were demoted. They before they any of this ever happened, they were doing stupid stuff before, but they were given a pass because they checked off a box, and that's not right. I don't care who you are, because when it's time to promote, if you are the best person for the job, you are the best person for the job. And like I said, I've got plenty of friends still at the sheriff's office that live an alternative lifestyle than I do. And I would hope that they would tell you that I don't treat them any different. I had two different girls that we'll probably have on when we talk about women in law enforcement. Um, I don't treat people different. And I think it's wrong to treat people different. And I think it creates division to treat people different. I think what we've created is an issue within the agency where you have people that are honestly and sincerely affected because, well, I give you an example. When I was trying to be a lieutenant, I was talking to plenty of people above me in the chain of command. I'm like, okay, what do I got to do? And they're like, oh, go to this school, do this, do this, do this, go to this school. So what did I do? I did that. And, we had a round of promotions that came up. I don't know how long after all that, but a while. And they had 8 promotions to lieutenant. And out of the 8, 5 of them had not done any of the schools that I was told to go to and any of the other things. And this isn't about me. I'm not trying to make it about me. I'm just saying when we set one set of standards, but then we forgive it for other people, whether they checked off a box or not. And not all of them were not all of them were. I'm not saying that a female or black male or Hispanic male got promoted over me because I don't honestly, I don't remember who got promoted then. My point was that, we're setting specific goals for certain people and we don't for other people. And that creates discontent and will cause issues within the department, within the agency. Hope, I'm trying to read yours. 30%. Yes. 30 by 30 is one of those things that is part of the whole DEI thing. And again, I will tell you and Hope, or as you see on the screen there, Tink Lynn. Uh, I know at the sheriff's office you worked for some females, and I've worked for some females that I would go to the ends of the earth for. And so, but recently, within the last this 30 by 30 has been popular for what 2-3 years now. When we promote just to promote, sorry, I got a text message. And no, it wasn't somebody telling me to stop talking about this. Um, when we promote females just to promote females, so that we have 30% by the year 2030. What are we saying? I mean, when it's quality, it's quality. Like I said, I have a friend at the sheriff's office that recently got promoted, female. Oh, somebody just left. I made somebody mad. Um, I text her Congratulations, because of who she is, because of what she's done, her merit, the places that she's been, the things that she's done, the way she worked for me when I first became a sergeant. Well, not when I first became a sergeant, but within a year or two of me becoming a sergeant. And to see where she's gone from that point in time where she was, oh, I got to be this, I have to be the ASL on the squad, to now, and her growth. That's what got her promoted. Not because she's female, not because she checks off a box. And as long as we're doing it the right way, as long as we're saying, yeah, we want to get to 30 by 30, because we're promoting the right people, the right leaders, um, or hiring because we're doing the right thing, because we want the right people and we want the right women in those positions being hired, being deputies, being cops, police officers, then I'm okay with that. It's when it becomes the sole focus, like you need look no further than the LA fires. We've all seen the people that are on TV. We've all seen the training chief, I think, or the assistant chief that said that somebody's, talking about how, well, what if my husband uh, needs you to carry him out of a fire? And she says, well, if he needs me to carry him out of a fire, he put himself in a bad situation. Well, what if he's passed out? What if he got shot and he needs you to carry him out of the house? What if he's handicapped and he needs you to carry him out of the house? And I get, I don't get it. Sorry. I don't get it. But we have priorities of, you know, I hate to say it, but I know an agency that has a gaming trailer with video games in it for community outreach. I don't understand it. I don't understand what that is. I don't understand what it's about. Um, I don't see how that helps us. I really don't. We have the police athletic league. We have stuff like that, programs that are designed for that, without having to buy hundreds of thousands of dollars of gaming stuff to take it around to community events. Um, I just don't think that. I don't think that's a focus. For a long time, several agencies have focused on beard and like I couldn't get away with this at the sheriff's office. Beard and tattoo policies. Um, crime is up, folks. I don't know if you know that or not. I don't know if you believe that or not, but crime is up. Crime is being underreported or not reported through the UCR so that things look better. But crime is up. Violent crime is up. And we're focused on, well, I don't like beards, so we're going to have a policy against beards. And, well, I don't like tattoos, so we're going to not let you wear tattoos that below your sleeve, or if you do, you have to wear long sleeves. And man, I get it. 1950s, 60s. Yeah, that was probably an issue. People don't want a cop showing up with tattoos on their arms. Today, nope, I don't see that being an issue. Just like this LA fire chief, assistant chief said, people want to see someone that looks like them showing up to their fire, which I don't understand, because I just want you to put the fire out. I don't care what you look like. But I don't think people have a problem seeing somebody show up with tattoos. A lot of people have tattoos. Now there's going to be older folks that, yeah, I'm reluctant to this, but where's our focus? Where are the priorities? Our priority in law enforcement, there's only one priority, and that's protecting the public. That's the only priority. Now, how we go about doing that is policy, but our priority is to protect the public. And, for a long time, we had unions that argued over a shoe allowance and wearing shorts. And don't get me wrong, because I wore shorts for a little bit, not very long, because I was promoted and decided it didn't look right for a supervisor. But the things that we're prioritizing now in law enforcement, the social media, dances and the DEI. Well, we have to have this and we have to have this. No, we have to have good leaders. We have to have strong leaders. I don't care who they are. I don't care what background they come from. I don't care what sexual orientation they are. If they protect the public, if their goal, their priority is to protect the public. So to me, social media for agencies, for law enforcement, that's to get out the message. You know what I'm saying? To get out the message. Hey, this is who we're looking for. Hey, this crime happened. Hey, be on the lookout. Do you have any information for us? That's what social media for law enforcement needs to be. And yeah, on occasion, um, you might say uh, that you want to promote what's going on. So, for instance, my squad several years ago on the east side of town found a family that was in need for Christmas. We ended up buying Christmas gifts, food for the family, gift cards for Publix so they could go out and buy the food that they wanted, and provided that to the family. And my chain of command said, "Hey, reach out to the PIO's office so that they can take uh, video or have you take video if that's what they decide to do. They want that video." So I don't have a problem with promoting what's going on, promoting the community. But yeah, I hope the dancing and the trends, the TikTok trends, and the I know we had one way back in the day where the what was it, the some Harlem Shake or something. They did a video for it. It just doesn't look good. It's not professional, guys, and that's my opinion. Like I said, I'm not trying to ruffle feathers. Well, I am. I want you guys to think. I want you guys to talk, and that's why I said, my twist on the DEI thing is, policy versus practice. When it's policy, that's wrong. But when you are a leader and you're practicing DEI, and I'm not talking about the DEI that is of today, but being the person who encourages everyone, being the person who promotes uh, mentors everyone and gets people to where they're going, regardless of who they are, regardless of race, sex, orientation, whatever. That's the DEI I'm talking about. The DEI of creating your own uh, within your team, and when you're doing that, when you're developing those folks, regardless of who they are, other people stop and listen and watch, and they want those people for themselves. And like, I'll give you an example. So I was a sergeant at the time, sitting in my captain's office. We were having a conversation. I don't think it had anything to do with law enforcement. I think we were just it was early in my shift, late in her shift, and we were just kind of sitting there shooting the breeze. And she got a phone call. This promotion day, and I heard her having this conversation, and she says, "Yeah, this guy, he's great. We really everything that he's doing is amazing. He's recently moved into criminal investigations, but when we were trying to get him over, we didn't have the bodies to be able to move around yet. So he finished his first. We had to do 30 days of on call status. He did his first 30 days of on call while he was still working the road, and his sergeant let him do that. So yeah, he's this guy's amazing, great. All right, hangs up the phone. So we continued our conversation, and 5 minutes later, he gets another phone call, and I hear her say, "No, he's white." Okay, and hangs up the phone. And that can go either way. I don't know if they were looking to hire somebody or promote somebody that wasn't white, or they were because of the way his name sounded. Because I'll tell you that I could probably give you 8 or 9 countries that this guy could have been from. I know who he is. His last name, I could give you an argument for 8 or 9 countries probably. And so I could see where the confusion was. So I don't know if they were trying to promote white, non-white. Why that matters, I don't care. And that's my point. And I said to her, I just listened to you have a conversation 5 minutes ago with how great this guy was. Everything that he was doing. Yep. We should definitely promote him. Blah, blah, blah. Why the second phone call? Why is the second phone call necessary? I don't get it. I do. I do get it. Why I understand it. I don't get it. Um, it just makes no sense that, here we are. Uh, our goal is to, like we said, protect the public. That's our only priority. Protect the public. And here we are squabbling or prioritizing either race or sex or sexual orientation over merit. This guy merited a promotion, obviously, from her conversation, the first conversation. He merited a promotion, but someone was more concerned about the DEI. And this is long before DEI became, well, not long. This is several years before DEI became a thing or before it became the catchphrase, because it went on before DEI became the catchphrase. It went on. But those are the kind of things I'm talking about, you know, and it's not getting any better. It's really not, man. I still talk to people that work for a lot of agencies. I have friends all over the country. I have friends here locally in different agencies. And in some agencies, I actually watch that are doing it the right way, that are taking care of their people, that are doing the things that are necessary to get the right leaders. And I'm not saying that someone's not a right leader because they check off a box. I've already told you I've got friends that checked off boxes, but I want to believe that their merit is what got them where they are, and I do believe that. So if I ruffled your feathers with that, I apologize, but I won't apologize for feeling that way. Um, I think priorities have shifted. There's that meme, and that's actually what the impetus was for this conversation, where you have the one kid in the pool that's barely got his head up over the, like, just his nose is above the water, and it says, these are the things that are going on that we need to be focused on, like rifles that work, a computer system that works, that we don't spend 3 years on trying to figure out when it's going to fail. Um, and then you have the kid that the mom standing there all happy to the kid that's jumping to them, and that's the gaming trailer and this and that. And then down below you have the skeleton sitting on the chair, and that's all the priorities that have gone by the wayside that are dead now. I'm sure you guys have seen that meme in some shape or form because they do it for a lot of different things. But yeah, I mean, I just wish it was different. Um, and I know that I would have been different as a leader, as a lieutenant. Um, I don't want to get back on me because I don't want people to focus on, oh, you're just bitter, because I'm not. I'm educated. I'm not bitter. I'm not disgruntled. I am 100% happy that I am gone. I you know, do I harbor a grudge? Yeah, sure. But the same way I did when I wasn't getting promoted. You know what I did? I drank a beer or two or six, and the next day I went to work and did my job. And I always did it that way, and I always worked. I was always a hard worker. Um, so it's not about that. But I watched way too many people um, get destroyed, and I'm currently watching people to get destroyed at the agency. Um, discipline is out of control. Yeah, if somebody does something wrong, I don't. I'm not against hammering people that need to get hammered. I'm not against disciplining people that need to get disciplined. I'm not against firing people that need to get fired. But we have people that are out there looking or deputies, officers that are dropping F bombs on video. And oh, yeah, it's a violation of policy, language, and behavior. Um, but sometimes it's a necessary evil. It's the cost of doing business. It's using somebody's vernacular so that they understand. And we're giving them 4, 8 hours off or drive cam. This your drive cam goes off if you hit a pothole or hit a curb or brake too hard or take off too fast and you're not wearing your seatbelt. And they tried to hem me up for not wearing my seatbelt. I'm like, I'm doing a traffic stop. The reason that it went off is because I had to slam on my brakes because the idiot stopped in the middle of the road rather than pulling off to the side of the road. So yeah, I'd already pulled my seatbelt off, anticipating getting out of the vehicle for a traffic stop. I don't know what's getting ready to happen. I don't know that person. They come out shooting. I got to be able to know what to do. I need to be able to unask the area if I have to. Pardon my French. And so those are the kind of things I'm talking about. Our priorities. Where are our priorities in law enforcement? Again, punishment, discipline, I got no issue with. But when we're looking for things just to punish people, and I trust me, I've been in plenty of training situations, block training situations where, the people from the professional standards, oh, we hear these rumors that you think that we're out to get you. And I can tell you and promise you that we're not, but yet we're watching it happen. We're seeing it with our own eyes. It's not we're just here. It's not that just we're hearing rumors. We're watching it happen. Oh, but we're not out to get you. We're not out to get you. Really? So you're telling me that what I'm seeing is like a figment of my imagination? That's correct? That you're telling me that, well, yeah, it's like The Wizard of Oz. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. And I guess as long as the wrong people stay in charge, that's the thing that will continue to happen. Um, there are people that genuinely care about people out there, um, that understand the priority is protecting the public, taking care of your people. And that goes hand in hand. I saw it on a website the other day, and I've seen it a bunch. I've heard it a bunch, but uh, mission first, people always. And I just wonder how many people that are saying that really believe it. Because it seems to me that a lot of people that are saying it don't really practice it. And you can tell that by the way they react when they have conversations with ranking people in the command staff that tell them that morale is down, that tell them that morale is bad right now. And they go, no, no, it's not. What are you talking about? I've been here and here, and morale's not down. "Yeah, maybe you should take a poll, one of those anonymous polls that go out on the computer, and see what people really think and what really people are really talking about, because I'm talking to them, and people are abandoning a toxic environment when they can, as quick as they can, and the others are planning to get out of a toxic environment. And that's sad because it's, I speaking just for the place that I came from, the agency that I worked for, um, knowing what it was in the past and knowing what it is now. Uh, a- and I know I understand, because when I was young in the agency, it was, oh, you guys, you old guys, you don't know, and so we have differing views, we have differing opinions, and we policed in different eras, so we're gonna have different opinions. But um, the fact of the matter is, ultimately, it's the same job, and certain folks look at it that we have to, well, we gotta put our foot down on these people. Are they really out there? Are they rogue cowboys? Is that what you're telling me? That these guys are out there just violating laws left and right, violating policies left and right. We're just rogue. We're going out on, hey, we don't want to tolerate these rules. Why do we got these rules at the agency? That's it's not happening. Are there some of those? Yeah. Oh yeah. I've disciplined them. There are guys out there that are just you go, "Huh, what? Where did you come up with that?" But an agency as a whole, and uh, the folks that the folks that I still talk to at different agencies, um, they range from it's a wide variety of people. I mean, I'm not talking about just patrol people or criminal investigations people in ranks. They go from deputy, slick sleeve deputy, all the way up to the rank of captain that I still speak to. Uh, and I won't identify you because I don't want the moles that are watching to those Strickland's out there, putting out your information. I'm not going to do that. But you know who you are, and you know how you think, and I get it. It's you're worried about a paycheck, and I don't have a problem with that because these days sometimes a paycheck's hard to come by, and you can't talk. You're not free to talk because you'll end up, the next one with a target on the back. So I get it, but where do we go? Where do we go from here, guys? How do we get the priorities to focus back on the crime? How do we get you guys? I know you hear all my text messages going off. Um, how do we get the priorities to shift back to where they need to be? And in my opinion, that only happens with the right leaders. Uh, the right people have to be in the right positions. The right people have to get promoted to chief. The right people have to get elected to sheriff. The right people need to start, just like in November, the right people have to start having a voice, and they have to go, okay, enough is enough. And that's a hard thing to do when you're, it's easy when the government works for us, so we can vote them in and out. When you work for somebody that's elected and you're just a lowly captain, chief, major, lieutenant, deputy, sergeant, corporal, it's hard to do. You can't just put your foot down. You can. Uh, you're not going anywhere. I mean, I had an incident where somebody told me, "Hey, I agree with you, and if this is the mountain you want to die on, you will never be anything more than a corporal at this agency. But I am willing to die on this mountain, or I'm willing to help you die on this mountain because you're right. But you have to make sure this is the mountain you want to die on." So I get it, guys. I've been there, done that, got the T-shirt. Speaking of T-shirts, let's see. My, my "Don't Let the Hard Days Win." Uh, mental health, Valhalla Project, PTSD shirt. So, um, like I said, guys, I've been there, done that. I got the T-shirt. Priorities. So, where do we go from here? I don't know. We got to put the right people in the right places. Um, is it up to us always? No. But if you are that person, if you're the person like me that likes to speak their mind, I encourage you to continue to do so. Not to the point where it gets you in trouble, but um, don't be afraid to be you, and don't let their priorities become your detriment. Uh, stand your ground, stick to you, and yeah, you may not ever get promoted again. It's going to happen. But I left with my integrity intact. I left with my morals intact, and you can do the same. Make your priorities, and focus on those. Focus on your people. Again, practice DEI in the spirit of encouraging everyone, regardless of who they are, mentoring, coaching, guiding people, no matter who they are, where they come from, and developing those people so that they become leaders. because that's how we infiltrate the management. That's how we infiltrate the staff. That's how we become better at what we do, by switching our priorities. We got to get a focus back on law enforcement, guys. These takeovers we talked about at the beginning, the intersection takeovers, the promotions based off a checkoff box. We have to focus on real leadership. We have to focus on real issues. We have to focus on real crime. And yes, these intersection takeovers are a crime. We have to stop focusing on TikTok dances and gaming trailers and whatever else is out there that's not about protecting the citizens where you work. Because if that is a priority in there, if that's been slotted in there somewhere, we got to get that out of there, because that's what's becoming the detriment of most of these. They wonder why people are walking away. They wonder why they can't get people hired. It's because nobody wants to be a part of that. Nobody wants to be a part of that. And so I think it's important that we hit the reset button. We refocus our efforts to get people where they need to be. And we need to refocus our leadership. And it's amazing how every conversation we have comes back to leadership, isn't it? This is what my fifth episode, sixth episode. And it's amazing how it comes back to leadership every time. There's not a time that we've talked about where I can't mention something on leadership. And that's why it's such a passion and a focus for me. So, guys, I appreciate you being here. Like I said, the reason we're doing it so early is because I'm going to be out of town. I'm leaving at about 4 o'clock. Um, I may do some live stuff, some pop up stuff while I'm on scene over where I'm at. I can't tell you where I'm going to be. It's top secret, secret mission. But uh, I'll end with this, only because it made me so mad last night. And I know most of you have seen it. You've probably seen it. But I watched 13 hours again last night and absolutely went to bed pissed off, wondering why Hillary Clinton and others in that administration are not sitting in prison for failing those people. Um, it just made me mad. Made me mad. So go watch 13 hours and get mad with me. Enjoy your weekend, guys. Like I said, I may pop up uh, here and there a couple of times this weekend, give you guys some videos. Um, Try to talk to maybe talk to some cops where I'm at and get their perspective on things. If we can keep them out of the if we can keep them out of keep their uniforms out of sight while they're talking to me. Yep, Brian, I agree. You and I have met some of those guys, so I tell you who's got a ton of information on 13 hours that I realized last night is my son. When he originally watched the movie the first time, he didn't realize it was a true story. He started doing some research, and man, he was sitting down here naming people off. Oh, that's Tig, and that's Boone, and there's Tonto, and I mean, he went through all. He knew even the people that I didn't know in that movie. He was like pushing, names and stuff, and had a lot of information on what happened, and it was just amazing. So, great movie if you want to see it. But thank you again, guys. You have any topics that you want to send my way? You're looking for um, something specific? There's my email address, bluetruthbourbonpodcast@gmail.com. You can find me on Spotify. I'm also on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel. So if you go there, please like and subscribe so I get bunches of subscribers. I'm not looking for money, but we'll go from there. But I'll throw that email address up one more time. My dogs are starting to scream because my wife is home. So I appreciate it, guys. Thank you for listening. I hope you learned something. I hope you agree with me. If you don't worry about sending me comments and saying you don't, because I enjoy reading those. And I will see you next time.